Hi everyone, my name is Dorian and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's video is one that I'm very excited about. It is my summer TBR or to be read video. My goal this summer is to read 10 to 15 books, one of which I've already read, another of which I am currently reading. So in this video, I am going to go through 12 books that are on my TBR list as of right now. I'm going to talk about the plot, what I'm expecting from them, and what I'm excited about, as well as my guess as to what I will end up rating the book. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel to help it grow. And without further ado, let's get into the video. So, as I said, I have already read one book, which is Realmbreaker by Victoria Aveyard, and then right now I am currently reading The House in the Cerulean Sea, both of which so far I have enjoyed, and I highly recommend each of them. Realmbreaker is a high fantasy, and The House in the Cerulean Sea is a fantasy, but it is based in our world, and so far it's been very cute and a really good read to get me into the summer mood. The first book on my TBR list is Witches Steeped in Gold by Cian and Smart. It is about two girls, one of which is in a prison because she is the lost heir to an overthrown dynasty, the other who is the daughter of the current ruler of the world and the usurper. One of them is seeking vengeance, the other is trying to escape death and escape strengthening her mother's rule. They band together and they decide to work as a team to take down the current ruler. This sounds like a book that I will really enjoy. It seems similar to some things I've read before, but it also sounds very unique in and of the story itself. I'm looking forward to understanding the magic in this world, and I'm looking forward to seeing the two main characters team up together and how they are different from each other. Knowing that this is a debut novel, I will probably end up giving it around 3 stars because I know that debuts are always not the author's best work. Not that I'm saying this is going to be a bad book or anything. I just think that I'll be able to see that there's room for improvement, but still enjoy the story itself. The next book on my TBR is Better Together by Christine Riccio. This follows two sisters who didn't know the other existed, and they have been torn apart because of the divorce of their parents, but they meet each other unexpectedly, and they get to swap lives for the time being and see what it's like living in each other's shoes. Contemporary isn't really my thing. I'm really trying to get into it more, so this seems like a good way to get me into that and to introduce me to it a little bit more. I have read contemporary in the past, and like I said, it's not my favorite, but with the little dash of magic in here, I'm sure that that will help me to enjoy it a little more. I have heard already mixed feelings about this book, and Christine Riccio's debut novel, Again But Better, I gave 3 stars, so I'm thinking because of some of the things I've already heard about it already, I might end up giving it 3 stars again. I'm hoping to give it 4, but we'll just have to wait and see. The third book on my TBR is A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. This is one of my most anticipated reads of the year, and I just haven't gotten around to reading it yet. I haven't really been in the mood for it yet, but I'm hoping that I will be in the mood for it this summer because I'm very excited to see this story, which will follow Nessa and Cassian, who are from the A Court of Thorns and Rose series, which this is a continuation of. I love those characters so much, and I'm looking forward to seeing them finally get together. So if you haven't read A Court of Thorns and Roses, I highly recommend that you do so that you can catch up and read this bad boy with me. Seeing as I've loved all of the books in A Court of Thorns and Roses so far, I'm sure that this one I will also love, but I will say that the last Sarah J. Maas book I read in January, I believe, was Crescent City, and I did not like that very much, so hopefully this will pick me back up from that and allow me to enjoy Sarah J. Maas's writing again. I have a feeling that I'm going to be giving this around 4 or 5 stars even. The next book on my TBR is The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. I have had this book on my TBR list for a couple of years now, and I just picked it up the other day, so I'm really looking forward to reading it. It's a dystopian novel, but also I think a kind of fantastical and magical novel as well. It's based in London, and it has to do with people who are gifted with clairvoyance, and they're being hunted, they're being prosecuted, it's been outlawed, and our main character, Paige, is actually a clairvoyant clairvoyant herself, and she works as a sort of double agent for the clairvoyant underworld against her father, who is actually a part of the government and is actually a part of the people who are hunting clairvoyant beings. Since I've heard really good things about this book, and it sounds like something that I would really enjoy, it sounds a little bit kind of like Divergent and the Hunger Games meets X-Men in a way, so I have a feeling I will be giving this book 4 or even 5 stars. The next couple of books on my TBR are actually only going to be one. I'm just having trouble deciding which of these two I would like to read over the summer, and those are The Book of Lost Tales by J.R.R. Tolkien or Unfinished Tales of the Numenor and Middle-earth by J.R.R. Tolkien. If any of you have read both or either of these, please let me know down below, and if you liked either one or if you liked one of them more than the other, so that might help me make a decision. I've been rewatching the Lord of the Rings movies and I love them so much, and I enjoyed the book series so much that I want to get back into the world of Middle-earth, and I've picked these up along the way and I haven't gotten to them yet, so I really want to. I'm not really sure what the biggest difference is between these two books. I have a feeling that this one has to do with more of folklore and legends of Middle-earth, and this one actually has to do with the history of it, so I'll have to decide what I'm in the mood for or which one I think I will get through faster and enjoy the most. I believe that based on The Lord of the Rings and based on J.R.R. Tolkien's writing style, I will probably give these books 3 to 4 stars, but we'll just have to wait and see. It's been a long time since I've read those books or since I've read anything by Tolkien, so I hope that I will enjoy them a lot. The next book on my TBR is The Chaos of Standing Still by Jessica Brody. This is another book that has been on my TBR for a while now, and it's about a girl who gets stuck in an airport in Denver, Colorado on New Year's Eve, and then she accidentally swaps phones with a guy named Xander, and they go on this whole adventure of trying to track each other down and have a good time on New Year's Eve while something looms over Rin and she tries to forget about it. This is another contemporary book which I'm hoping to kind of get me more into that genre and to help me get away a little bit from fantasy during the summer. Since the story takes place on New Year's Eve, it might be better for me to read this closer to the end of the summer to get me in the mood for the start of school and the start of the holidays, but I don't want to think about that right now, so I am just looking forward to reading this cute story that has a deeper plot point, and I have a feeling I will give this book 4 stars. The next book on my TBR is You Bring the Distant Near by Matali Perkins, and this is another contemporary. However, it is about an Indian family who moves to America from London, and it's about them trying to keep their traditions alive in the new land that they find themselves living in, as well as overcoming challenges that they are still facing from the past. It sounds like a very family-centered story that has a lot of deeper plot points and a lot of different intertwining storylines, so I'm really looking forward to reading this because it's unlike anything really that I've read before, and I have another book that is like this, which is A Very Large Expanse of Sea, which I'm hoping to read sometime soon in the fall or in the winter. So with the familial aspect as well as this idea of trying to hold on to family and tradition, I think that I would be giving this book 4 to 5 stars. Another contemporary which has been on my TBR for a while is On the Come Up by Angie Thomas. I finally got a hold of this book and I finally bought it for myself, and I'm determined to read it this summer because I remember I read the opening chapter in The Hate You Give at the end and I really enjoyed it, and I wish I had bought the book right then and there and just gone right into it, but I'm glad that I'm finally gonna get around to reading it. This is about a girl named Bree who really wants to become a rapper. She's on the come up and she's entered in these contests and she's really working on her craft, but she's facing problems with her family as well as with society because she's a young black girl and she has been labeled a certain way by certain people, so she needs to overcome these obstacles and she needs to stay true to being herself and follow her dreams. Since I've been looking forward to this book so long and I've heard really good things about it, I have a feeling I will be giving it 4 to 5 stars. The 9th book on my TBR is The Gilded Ones by Namina Forna. This is also one of my highly anticipated reads of the year. I was able to snag this signed copy from a bookstore on the coast and I've had it with me for I think a couple of months now, so I'm hoping to read this either at the beach or in a couple of weeks. We follow a 16-year-old girl named Decca who lives in a village and has to go through a blood ceremony to determine whether or not she will actually become a member of her village. If her blood runs red, then she's safe, but her blood ends up running gold, and that is a mark of impurity in this world, so she believes that she will suffer a fate worse than death until a strange woman comes along and offers her the choice to stay and face the future she already knows will come to pass if she does, or to leave and join a group group of girls who are also like her to fight against the Emperor and overthrow him. Decca decides to leave her life behind and go and fight with these other girls, and it's about her journey of making that decision, joining those other girls, and fighting the Emperor. I've also heard really good things about this, and it's been on my TBR for a little while now, and it's also one of my highly anticipated reads of the year. However, I also believe it is a debut novel, so I'm thinking I will probably end up rating it 3 or 4 stars. The next book on my TBR is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller, and I picked this up after finishing Lore by Alexandra Bracken, which I highly recommend and really enjoyed. This book follows Achilles, who teams up with 2 other gods and form an inseparable bond, and when Helen of Sparta is kidnapped, all of the heroes, including Achilles and some of his friends, have to go and lay siege to Troy to rescue her. So it is about the inseparable bond of these heroes who have become friends and the trials and tribulations that they must go through as they follow the call on heroes to come and help rescue Helen of Sparta from Troy. So it's basically a retelling of one of the famous Greek myths, and like most of the books that I've already talked about, I've heard very good things about this one, so I have a feeling I will be giving it 4 to 5 stars, and I'm really looking forward to reading this. I'm really looking forward to getting back into that Percy Jackson and lore kind of vibe and storyline. The 11th book on my TBR is One of the Good Ones, which is a book that is authored by 2 people who I am not going to try and pronounce their names because I know I will epically fail. And this book is about 2 sisters, one of which is a teen social activist and the other who is her little sister. And the older sister, Kezzy, is killed at a rally under mysterious circumstances, which leaves her family and her little sister happy, reeling and wondering what happened, what went wrong, and whether or not foul play was involved. This is another sort of contemporary that I am looking forward to reading. It's definitely going to be a lot heavier than a few of the other contemporaries that I talked about, but I'm trying to sort of expand my reading and expand the stories that I consume, and so I'm really looking forward to reading this book. I have a feeling I'll be giving it 4 stars, and I'm looking forward to the story, learning a couple of things from it, as well as broadening my reading scope. The last book on my TBR is The Firekeeper's Daughter, which is by Angeline Booley, I think her last name is. I actually don't have any idea what this book is about, and I kind of want to go into this one blindly, so if you want to read the synopsis for yourself, I'll go ahead and link it down below, as well as all the other books. Like I said, I want to go into this one without really knowing anything. It's also another one of my highly anticipated reads of the year, so I'm really looking forward to delving into this. Also, the cover is beautiful. This is one of my favorite covers that I have ever seen, and I'm proud that I own this book. I've also heard good things about this book, but I think it's also a debut novel, so I'm thinking I'll probably give it 4 stars, but I'm just really looking forward to delving into it and going in without knowing anything about it and enjoying the book. Alright everybody, that wraps up the 12 books on my summer TBR list. I'm really looking forward to getting to each and every one of them. Hopefully, wish me luck. Please let me know down below what you are planning on reading this summer, if you've read any of these books that I talked about and what you thought of them. Please no spoilers, and like I said, do not forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel, and aside from that, I will see you next time!